Flosstube. I am Jean Workman. I am owner and designer of Monticello Stitches, a new cross-stitch design company, and this is my first Flosstube video, so welcome to my channel, Monticello Stitches. I have been cross-stitching about 40 years. I started back in college when cross-stitch was kind of a new hobby. I stitched teddy bears having tea parties and country geese with bows, and I'm just so happy that cross stitch has grown up so much and there's something for everybody now. I really like historic samplers. That's what I love the most. That's what inspires me. I follow a lot of people that I'm sure you do too. Hands Across the Sea, Beth Twist, anyone who interprets historic samplers, I'm in. And that's what my designs are. They are historic sampler derived. I really like just about any kind of needlework there is. I love to knit. I've been known to go down a knitting rabbit hole and knit only for several years. I also love to quilt, but it's cross stitch that I've come back around to, and that has given me such a renewed purpose and inspiration. When I was a child, I spent summers with my grandmother. She lived next door, and she knew how to do every needlework thing there was. And for her, needlework was her release, it was her passion, it was her therapy. And after a lot of years, needlework has become that for me too, and probably for many of you. If you're happy, cross stitch. If you're sad, cross stitch. Cross stitch will fix anything. Or knitting, whatever it is you love to do. If you do it, it really does provide something soothing and wonderful comfort and joy. I really got reinterested in cross stitch about 2 years ago. I had a little health bump in the road and had a cancer scare, had some surgery, and so I was basically spending the summer on the sofa. I had the opportunity before my surgery to be in Western North Carolina, and I got to go to Kimberly Young's Sassy Jack Stitchery, and if you haven't been, you have got to go. Everything she has chosen for her shop speaks to me. It is exciting to go in there. You know that tingle when you go in the shop that you're like, oh, I'm in heaven. Well, that's the way her shop is, and I had gone there, and she sort of specializes in historic samplers or things that look like that, and that just really fired me up. So I was actually stitching something I had bought from her in 2018 on the sofa all summer, and really through Flosstube and Instagram I stumbled on other designers. I didn't realize it. I had stitched 2 samplers by Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. I really had not paid that much attention to who the designer was, but lo and behold, I stitched 2 samplers by Beth Twist. And so, sitting on the sofa, I began to read about her and found out that she loved historic samplers and had an idea that she could design them, and so she just did. And I found that very intriguing and inspiring, so much so that I decided I wanted to do that too. In the dark ages, I was an art major in college, and it's all in there somewhere. But I actually emailed Beth, and she graciously emailed me back, and I said, I want to do this. What kind of software are you using? How do you do this? And she told me what she used, and I got it, and I learned how to do it, and that's what I've been doing. But really through Instagram and Facebook, I have just been so inspired by what the world of cross-stitchers is doing. I love historic samplers. I salute any of you that can do those all over patterns. My brain will not let me do that. My brain wanders around and then I'm off count. You know how that goes. But I do love spot samplers. I love them because, for one thing, there's a great sense of accomplishment in finishing a little motif and moving on to the next motif until, before you know it, your sampler's done. But I really love spot historic samplers, and that's kind of where my ideas have found their inspiration. So 2020 was a crazy year. This is now January of 2021. Praise the Lord, not 2020 anymore. But 2020, when the pandemic hit, I retired unexpectedly. I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines for 41 years and was not anticipating retirement. And COVID just slashed revenues to the point that they were offering retirement packages. And I really didn't think I could do it. I thought I had a couple of more years I needed to go, but lo and behold, I did retire. And it is wonderful. I highly recommend it for anybody. But designing samplers had been put on the back burner. I had started 2 years ago, and then I had to come back and catch up work from being sick. So I had not had time to devote to it. But in the pandemic, I had a lot of time to devote to it and started working on my designs. And then in the summer of 2020, another crazy, unexpected thing happened just out of the blue. In my little town, there's a house that my husband has always adored and has always said, when that house comes on the market, I'm going to buy it. It came on the market. And we looked at it, and that was not the house for us, but another house was. And after living in our beautiful old house of 140 years old for 29 years, we moved. On the hottest day of the whole year, we moved. And so the rest of the summer was spent kind of with another little interruption to my cross-stitching plans, but we had to get settled and moved and paint some rooms. You know how it is when you move. But now all that's behind us, and so I have begun to really earnestly design. And I really like it. And my company is Monticello Stitches. I have an Etsy shop. I hope you'll take a look. I hope it's something that my designs will resonate with you. There's so many people I love to stitch and still do stitch those people, although right now I seem to be stitching my own fast and furiously. But cross-stitching has just done something for my little soul that maybe it does for you. And if you will allow me, I'm just going to show you one of my designs. I have 5. I've just finished a 6th that is not in my shop yet, but in my floss tubes, I'm just going to show you my works in progress, which are actually my works in progress. So I'll show you my first one, and take a look around my shop. Happy stitching. Thank you so much for watching. And isn't it great that 2020 is over? Thank you, friends. Here's my first sampler, inspired by all the Adam and Eve samplers out there. It's a happy day in Eden, and you can see, I'll get a little closer. Eve's got the apple in her hand. I don't guess she's taken a bite yet, but all the animals are getting along famously. This is the one that got me started. So that's my first sampler from Monticello Stitches. Thank you for looking. Have a great day.